Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost a shocking game on Sunday Night Football to the Dallas Cowboys, and now they don't control their destiny to the playoffs or winning the NFC South division title. And now they will be hosting the Carolina Panthers, who have already eliminated one team from the playoffs as they beat the Arizona Cardinals in overtime. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 17 matchup between the Panthers and Buccaneers. But before we do that, we hope that you all have a happy, Merry Christmas with all your friends and family, and you're excited for the 2025 year. If you like the work that we put out, be sure to subscribe to The Tracy Take and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, as you can tell now for all NFC South fans that are watching, who I was rooting for on that Sunday Night Football game. And I will say, too, I thought the Bucs did play their best game, but they had I thought that they played well enough to win this game. They got so unlucky. Those were two of the wildest turnovers I've ever seen. The Jalen McMillan pick and then the fumble. Is that a fumble? Technically a fumble, I guess.
It's a fumble. It was just a weird, it
was a great hustle play by Baker Mayfield. What a play for Baker Mayfield to avoid the sack, get the ball out to Rachaad White. Then Rachaad White holding off one guy, and then somehow the ball falling out of his hands.
It got punched out by Deron Bland, but it was just it was an awkward.
Deron Bland just grabbed it out of his. Maybe he punched it and grabbed it.
No, you're right. Deron Bland grabbed it. It was just a weird sequence. It was an unusual sequence of events that led to the final turnover that sealed the game for the Cowboys. Yeah. And that for me, this is a good Tampa team. I think you just look they've been fairly unlucky this season, one with injuries. Then I think you go look at the first Falcons game and you guys should have lost that one. That was the crazy I don't know. Kirk threw the pick and then you guys got the ball back and went down and kicked a super long field goal to send it to overtime. And then Kadero Hodge in overtime catches his first career touchdown on a medium post route. Then the second game, they actually played you guys pretty tough. They were just so injured that they couldn't keep up. Kansas City, they lost on a coin flip. And then now, I think you go look at this Dallas game. That's another tough loss just off of some fluky turnovers.
Well, and what's ironic, though, about that on some of their losses, but they've also, too, the team that they're playing against, they got I would say, a lucky win against Carolina the last time they played a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was about a month ago. It was week 13. And so that's why I think what's going to be very intriguing about this matchup. And it wasn't like Tampa Bay played bad in that game. Carolina has been playing well in the second half of the season. Bryce Young has been playing well. They beat the Arizona Cardinals without Xavier Legette in this last game. Chuba Hubbard's been playing well. He's now become the bell cow back. He kind of already was, but now with Jonathan Brooks out again with another torn ACL. He had an absolute amazing game. 25 carries, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, a walk-off touchdown in overtime. He also had 4 catches for 13 yards as well. And that, to me, I think is going to be the difference in this game because we're talking about how good the Panthers ran against the Cardinals defense, which is weak. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially in the run defensive department, is nowhere near as weak. They're 9th overall in rushing yards allowed, 104 rushing yards allowed. But on the flip side, though, the Bucs are 7th overall offensively when it comes to rushing yards per game, as they average 143.6 rushing yards per game. So I'm talking a lot about the rushing game overall because the Panthers, they actually kind of rely on that a little bit for their offense to be effective. And Arizona Cardinals were able to run all over Carolina, especially, too, with James Conner until he got hurt, actually, in the late third quarter. And look at James Conner's stats, 15 carries, 117 yards for the touchdown. 4 catches for 49 yards and for receiving as well. I say that because he did that just in 3 quarters. And you go look at what Tampa Bay has done extremely well over the since their bye, and really a lot since this whole season, has been running the ball with Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. Specifically, Bucky Irving. He's been their guy. They only rushed for 134 yards in Dallas on Sunday Night Football. But since their bye, that was their worst rushing game since their bye by over 20 yards. They're normally averaging since their bye 150, if not even sometimes 160 or 170 rushing yards per game. Carolina is going to have to somehow find a way to stop Bucky Irving and this Tampa Bay running game because they have just been so dominant. Now, Tristan Wirfs, he got a little banged up during the game. Looks like he played through it. I'm sure he'll be completely fine. But if for some reason he's not a go, I don't see why he wouldn't be a go with everything going on at this point in the season. But he's been a stud at left tackle his entire career. Graham Barton's been an amazing pick at center. Baker Mayfield's been playing extremely well. So I think much improvement in the offensive line. Baker Mayfield, also just being Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving being a stud, has really improved the Tampa Bay running game. I think that Tampa Bay is just going to run all over Carolina, just like how every other team has done. Because the one rushing stat I haven't told you about is probably the wildest stat of every single one. Carolina is averaging 175 rushing yards per game. That is last.
Rushing yards allowed.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Rushing yards allowed. That is last by 30 yards, which is awful. That's so bad.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's pretty bad. You can definitely tell they're missing Derek Brown up front. That's been a really tough loss for them. I definitely think too at the top of this next draft class, Mason Graham is there. You have to take a hard look at that one. They could get Abdul Carter as well to potentially help with the pass rush and have Derek Brown return. But that is definitely like the weak link, I think, for this team right now. It's just that front seven is as like just so porous.
Yeah.
And so like kind of going into this matchup, I played Bucky Irving in fantasy this past week when Tampa Bay played the Cowboys, and I was so frustrated with how much he was utilized in that game because it just felt like it was just all right. They're gonna do a swing pass to him here. They're gonna give him a carry where he's gonna get 8 yards. And the other thing too that has just been so impressive is they're getting him out in space, and he's just forcing missed tackles. Like I think he's top of the league right now in missed tackles forced missed tackles. And so I just, it's really impressive what the Buccaneers are doing with this running game, especially when you look at where they've been in the last couple of seasons, where like that offensive line was pretty bad last year. Tom Brady's last year, that offensive line was really bad. And so it's just been a very nice adjustment and nice improvement that they've made. And I think they continue to improve upon that. And so to get in predictions, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I just think they're the better team in this matchup. I definitely think Carolina will keep it close. But at the end of the day, if you're losing the line of scrimmage pretty consistently, especially on both sides of the ball, there's just not going to be too much else you can do in that matchup.
Yeah. Carolina's secondary is actually, I don't think it's atrocious. I think it's actually somewhat decent with
no, it's not bad.
J.C. Horn leading the way there, and so, but it's still just not great. And not only do I think the Buccaneers are going to be able to run all over them, but I also think too they're still going to get their licks in with Mike Evans. Even though that being said, J.C. Horn did a good job locking down Marvin Harrison Jr. Against the Cardinals. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is totally different than Mike Evans. So, but I think Tampa Bay is just going to be able to run all over them. And the Panthers, if they're going to have to stay in it, Bryce Young has been playing significantly better from the first half, like last year and the first couple games of this season. He's going to have to play stellar again. Xavier Legette did not play in this game. They're going to need him to get healthy. I think the Panthers would love to play spoiler. As a Falcons fan we're playing the Commanders on Sunday Night Football, I would love for Carolina to play spoiler here because actually if Carolina wins and we win, the Falcons win the division. Just do the tiebreakers that we beat the Bucs twice already this year. We'd be one game up with one to go. So that would be great. But I'm going to pick Tampa Bay. I think that it's just going to be too much overall. I think Tampa Bay is going to be fighting for a lot. They're going to be playing for a lot more. Carolina, as I said, would love to play spoiler. I hope it's spoilers with y'all than with us next week when we play the Panthers because I'm nervous about playing the Panthers. This Panthers team is legit. Dave Canales has got them playing really well. If they had a halfway decent defense, I think their record would be much better.
Well, not even just a halfway decent defense. If they weren't the worst rushing defense in the league by 30 yards, take 30 yards off of their average rushing total in each game. And I know that's like a very big summation, but like if they're giving up 30 less rushing yards a game, that would drastically improve their overall record.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's like the last time they gave up less than 160 rushing yards was they gave up 102 yards to Denver. in week 8. That was it. Like other than that, I mean, they've given up. It's impressive on how bad this rushing defense has been. And I think they're going to give up another 200+ yards here to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So be glad you played Bucky Irving this week and not next week.
Yeah, exactly. So and after Josh Jacobs' performance tonight, I am going to the league championship. So hopefully he's not injured, but that's a topic for a different day. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Carolina Panthers? Will it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.